I'm Coach Laura with Outdoor Beginner. Today we'll be talking about rate of perceived exertion, or RPE. RPE is a scale from 1 to 10 that helps you pace yourself based on your rate of perceived exertion. So what does that actually mean? It means how hard are you working? You want to be able to keep your runs in a band of about 3 to 5 out of 10. We'll talk in another video about why it's important to keep your runs at this easier effort. But the thing to remember today is that you're aiming for 3 to 5 out of 10. I like teaching the runners that I coach about rate of perceived exertion as a way to pace yourself because it's not tied to a specific speed. So it doesn't matter how fast or slow you're running. What matters is how hard you're working. And this also can encompass walking, stopping, different speeds of walking, different speeds of running, and kind of everywhere in between. Helpful to look at the rate of perceived exertion scale as a visual tool as well to kind of help you get the hang of it. So we can start at the bottom here, which is a 1 out of 10 or minimal effort. So when you're just relaxing, standing still, or watching this video right now, most likely. I think a lot of beginners, myself included, when I was starting out, made the mistake of spending a lot of time up here in the 8 out of 10 range. You know, you're just trying to run as fast as you can for as long as you can without stopping. So walk intervals not only make it more easy to make progress over time and ease your body into things, but it's also just a more appropriate pace. Even when you are running, you want to be down here in this green zone, the 3 to 5 out of 10 range. So I like the RPE scale again because it doesn't say that you have to be running at a 4 out of 10. So if you're going uphill, if you're just starting out, a 4 out of 10 might look like walking to you. You may need to stop at some point if you are starting to push up into the 6 out of 10 range. So whatever your 3 to 5 to 10 pace looks like on that day, RPE kind of helps you get an idea of what that appropriate pace is for your run and walk intervals. We'll talk more next time about why that 6 and above out of 10 is a little bit too much for you right now and why you want to stay in that 3 out of 5 range. But high level is that you want to be able to give yourself enough stimulus to your body that you're building aerobic capacity, as well as getting your muscles and joints and ligaments all used to the impact of running, while still being able to give yourself enough time to rest and recover without overdoing it. So how do you know that you're at that 3 to 5 out of 10? The biggest cue is that you're able to still talk in complete sentences. So if you're by yourself and you're run walking, then you can either talk to yourself out loud, sing your favorite song, say a funny tongue twister, whatever works the best for you. And if you're running with a group, the nice thing about that is then you can really keep track of how well you are staying within that 3 to 5 out of 10 range and whether your pace is still appropriate or not. I had a runner recently ask me, well, what if I'm at like a 7 out of 10 and I'm already walking? That's fine. That means you might need to stop and kind of regroup and take some deep breaths to get yourself back down to that 3 to 5 out of 10 range. Again, that's what I love about the rate of perceived exertion. You don't have to be at a certain pace. You don't have to be running or jogging or walking or whatever. You just need to be focusing at on a 3 to 5 out of 10 effort. And that's going to look different for everybody. It'll look different for you day to day, run to run, sometimes within a run. There are a couple different things that I have mentioned so far that have an impact on your rate of perceived exertion. Just to kind of quickly hit those again. Like within your run, obviously the terrain that you're on can make a difference. The biggest thing that's going to impact it also is your personal level of rest and stress. So your body doesn't really know how to separate out running stress versus life stress. It's all the same thing. So how you feel is going to vary based on if you have slept enough, if you have eaten enough, if you've rested enough in general between your runs, or between working and running, especially if you work at a job that you're on your feet a lot. Your body doesn't know the difference between being on your feet for work and being on your feet for running. So all of those factors you do want to keep in mind, especially when it comes to if you're feeling more tired than normal, trying not to beat yourself up if your 3 out of 10 one day is a run and the next day it's walking. It's just going to vary. And that's why I, again, love rate of perceived exertion, because you're able to just kind of always have that guide and be a lot more in tune with your body rather than getting too wrapped up in like, oh, am I running fast enough if I'm running a certain pace? You know that it's enough and the right pace when you're at the right exertion level. So you might also be curious how you're going to notice progress then if you're not going to be obsessing over your pace all the time. The best way to notice progress with rate of perceived exertion is maybe your speed is different at a 3 out of 10. So, maybe when you started this program, a 3 out of 10 is going to be walking or power walking. And then by the end of it, it's going to be running the same, stretch. Or similarly, maybe you have to walk up a hill on your route every time. And by the end of the course, you can run some of it or all of it. You can also judge it on whether a 3 out of 10 feels the same over time. So if you can run for 1 minute, for example, at a 3 out of 10 pace or 3 out of 10 rate of exertion right now, maybe by the end of the course, you can run for 3 minutes and it still feels like a 3 out of 10 instead of like starting to spike upwards to 6 or 7 out of 10 as you run for longer. So there are still plenty of ways to notice progress throughout the process of getting started with running with rate of perceived exertion. And I think, again, it just helps you tune into your body and be a little bit more gentle with yourself and also make running a little bit more approachable and bite-sized to try to figure out, how to get started and get going instead of just, like I did when I started out worrying about, well, can I run all the way around my block without walking? I think rate of perceived exertion is just a really helpful tool to help you be more kind and more in tune with your body.